Good morning, Year 8. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of April. We're now going to move on to lesson 3 of 4. So today, a new subtitle, 2.4, Substituting and Solving. So we will look at substituting integer expressions. And the second part of the lesson, we will look at construct and solve equations. So today's part 1, looking at questions 1 to 9. So we'll have a quick look at the starter questions. So the warm-up questions are here. So question 1, it says work out the value of these expressions when x equals 4 and y equals 5. So again, remember, we're substituting here. So if I just do the first one really quickly, so 3x plus 8 when x equals 4. So x equals 4, so we're saying, well, 3 times x, so we're now going to do 3 times 4 equals 12. So 12 plus 8 give me 20. So this expression here, that will equal to 20. So I'll let you do part B, C, and D. So 2xy, so basically you say 2 times x times y, tells you here what x and y is. Here you've got to expand, well, you can do x plus y, then times it by 6, then square y, y is 5, subtract x squared, x is 4, and then work them out. We're going to now look at the second warm-up question, which is to solve. Now again, I think this is a topic we've not done that much previously, so I'm going to spend a bit of time teaching you guys how to solve equations. Now, I prefer using the balancing method. If you guys have your own method to solve these kind of questions, please do that. So solve equations using the balancing method. So the first question you have is 3x plus 8 equals to 23. So that's my first question here. So what I like to do, I write it on my little worksheet. So this is now balancing basically means whatever I do to one side, I've got to do the same to the other side. So at the moment, 3x plus 8 is the same as 23. So these two are balancing. That means they weigh the same. We're trying to solve what x is. So we're saying 3 times the number plus 8 equals 23. Now, some of these you can do quite easily just by looking at them and thinking. Some of them you need to take a bit more care and show some working. So the main goal is I want to get this 3x, ideally, then x all by itself on one side of my equation to help me solve it. So I've got 3 times something plus 8 equals to 23. So if I want to get 3x all by itself, I can move this 8 to the other side. Now remember, if I've got left and right, whenever I'm moving from one side to the other, either from left to right or right to left, it changes its sign. So I write it here, I've got 3x plus 8 equals 23. And if I'm going to move this plus 8 to the other side, that's going to become a negative 8. So I'm basically subtracting 8 from both sides. Remember, you've got to do the same to both sides. So that's going to be 3x is equal to 23 minus 8. So 3x 23 minus 8 is 15. So now we have 3x. Sorry, let's clean this up a bit. Is the same as 15. So we're trying to solve for 1. So we basically divide. So we do multiplication here, remember. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we divide both sides by 3. So these two cancel each other out. So that leaves me with x, which is what we want. We want to work out what 1x is. 15 divided by 3, 5. So x equals 5. And remember, one final thing you should do, you check your solution. Does it work by substituting? Okay, we'll check 3 times, so we're saying x equals 5. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 8, 23. For both, so they're both the same, the left and the right. Okay, we'll now do a second question. So B, it says 5. Let me move this out of the way. So this one, second question. So 5 is the same as 20 minus 5x. So again, we want to get 5x, negative 5x by itself. So what I can do is move this 20 to the other side. So this is a positive 20. So I'm basically subtracting 20 from both sides. Let me just write that again. So here, so 5 take away 5, so take away 20, that gives me negative 15, and then I'm left with negative 5x on this side. Again, I just want to work out what 1x is. So again, like before, we're now going to divide both sides by negative 5. Okay. Now, if you're asking why am I dividing by negative 5, well, we always divide by the coefficient. The coefficient is the name given to the number in front of the letter, the number multiplying the letter. So here, x is multiplied by negative x. So this is a coefficient. So when we get to this stage, we always say, okay, I need to work out what 1x is, so I need to divide by the coefficient. So negative 5 divided by negative 5, cancel, now left with x. So x equals negative 5 divided by negative 15 divided by negative 15 is a positive 3. Again, how do I know my answer is correct? By checking, by substituting. So negative 5, so negative 5 times 3, okay? Sorry, so we're going to do 5 times 3 is 15, 20 take away 15, 5. So both sides are equal, they're balanced, it's correct. Okay, we now look at the third example, which is C. So let me get rid of these, move this down here. So the expression now, the equation, sorry, this is an equation because it's got the equal sign. So 8x plus 3 is the same as 3x plus 33. So when you get questions like this where you've got unknowns on both sides, we know we need to move them around. We need to move them either to this side or move this to the this side. And the trick is always try and do it where you're moving smaller amounts. So because remember, if I got 8x and I move it to both to this side, so I got 3x plus 33 minus 8x, that will create me a negative because I'm saying take away 8x from both sides. So it's better if I move this 3x, a smaller of the two unknowns, to this side. So I'm going to basically subtract 3x from both sides. So 8x subtract 3x is 5x plus 3. Then on the right hand side, now this 3x is gone because I've subtracted, I've moved it to the other side. I'm just left with 33. And remember, I need to get this 5x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. I want to basically get this 3 onto this side. So I'm going to, this positive 3 becomes a negative 3. I'm basically subtracting 3 from both sides. Okay, so that we now on the left hand side, it will be 5x equals 33, take away 3, 30. So again, now I'm left at the nice where I want to be. So I've got the coefficient multiplying the x. I need to solve for 1, so divide by 5. So divide both sides by 5. Yeah, 5x divided by 5. 5's cancel each other out, leaving us just with x. So x, sorry, let me undo that. So x equals 30 divided by 5 is 6. Again, you can check to see if your answer, so multiply 8 by 6 plus 3, 3 times 6 plus 33, and they should both be the same. If they're not, that tells you made a mistake somewhere. You need to go back and retrace your steps. And then the final kind of question, because you get all different sorts of types of questions through these solving equations types. So this time you got D, which is 7 multiplied by x plus 8. Then in brackets on the right hand side, you've got 3x minus 4. So by now you should realize that whenever you see equations with brackets, first thing you do, expand, get rid of them. So let's expand, multiply at the left hand. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 8 is 56, I think. I need to check. And then on the right hand side, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Now we have 7x plus 56 is the same as 3x minus 12. Again, now we've got x's on both sides, so we need to move either this to this side, with 7x to this side, or move this 3x to this side. Well, we know it's better to move the smaller of the two, so I'm going to basically subtract 3x on both sides. So with 7x, subtract the 3x is 4x plus 56 is the same as negative 12. Remember, this 3x is now gone because I've subtracted it. I moved it to the other side. So again, I want the 4x by itself. So this time I'm going to move this 54 to the other side. So I'm now left with 4x. So the 56 to the other side is basically subtract 56. So negative 12, subtract 56 is 68. Okay. And then now I'm left with a 4x. So remember, when I get to this stage, I just need to divide both sides by the coefficient. So divide both sides by 4, negative 68, divide by 4. So half of 68 is 34, half of 34, 17, not 16, 17. So x is 17. Again, you can check your answers by substituting x into both sides and see if once you've multiplied them out, they should be the same. They should be equal on both sides. Okay. And when last one, you got 5x squared is equal to 500. So again, think about it. I want x squared by itself. So what I can do, so I got, so 5 times something squared is 500. So if I move this 5 to the other side, basically I've got to do division. What's the inverse of multiplying? Division. Remember, this is 5 times x squared. So divide both sides by 5. So that leaves me with x squared is equal to, yeah, so this is 500 divided by 5, which equals to 10. So x squared, and not 10, sorry, 500 divided by 5 is 500. So x squared equals 100. Now, again, think of inverses or opposites. So if I'm squaring something with the opposite, I want to get 1x. So I've got to take the square root of both sides. Yes. So the opposite of squaring is the square root. So square root of 100 is equal to 10. Okay, this is the square root. So check. If I believe x is 10, so 10 squared is 100, 5 times 100, 500. Anyway, hopefully that was manageable. But as I said, with these kind of questions, just set it out logically, like I've shown you before, like here. Write the equation on, you know, the equal sign is the middle here. So you've got your left and your right. And then think, okay, what do I need to move to this side, to that side, to eventually get the unknown X or Y or whichever letter it can be to solve it. If you still have questions, please message me. Moving on to the next question. So question 3, square A has area, oops. So here's my square, no. A very roughly drawn square. Okay, A has area, so we know it's X centimeter. But now remember, when you see the square, you know that both sides are going to be the same. Okay, so if this is 10, this is 10, the area will be 100 square centimeters. And B has a square, B has area X plus 3 centimeters squared. The area of B is 4 times the area of square A. Write an equation for the using the information given. So for that one, you would write, oops, let me just get rid of these. So for A, write an equation from the information above. So we would write 4x equals x plus 3. And then I'll let you do the solving part yourself. And then for question 4, find the value of these linear expressions when x equals 8 and y equals 5. So again, you just, and z equals -3. So again, you just need to substitute these values into the expressions to work them out. So you do 4 times 8 plus 3 times -3. What do you get? Expand and add up the numbers. So that should be fairly straightforward. You've got the hints there. So just look at these. For question 5, for each shape, write an expression for the perimeter of a shape. Now remember, the perimeter is the distance around, so it's all 4 sides. Collect simplified expressions. So if one side here is 3a plus b, then this side here is also 3a plus b, 3a plus b, 3a plus b, 3a plus b. Collect all of them together and then work out the perimeter. So we substitute the values of a is 3 and b is -2 into your expression to work out its total distance, its perimeter outside. You would do the same for b. So again, opposite sides is the same. So this side will be 5a minus 2b. This side will be 4a plus 3b. Collect and simplify, and then work out the perimeter of this rectangle, its distance outside, when a is 3 and b is -2. Okay. Question 6. These two shapes have the same area. So remember, this side is taken off. Work out the value of x. So again, the hint here is write expressions for the areas. So what's the area of this one? So if this side is 3x squared, this side is 3x squared. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. So that's this area. So this area of this green part has got to be the same as 9x squared. And then from that, you can work out what x is, because these two sides, these two areas, these two shapes should be the same. Question 7 is substitute x equals 3, y equals 4, z equals -2 into 3x times x plus y. Again, substitute. So you say, okay, this is 3. So you're going to do 3 times 3, 9 times 3 times 4. Again, you can do this quite easily with a calculator or spreadsheet. Just put the numbers in and then get your answers. So again, look at the hints. So this should hopefully be enough for you to do these questions. And for question 8, so formula you can use to work out the distances work out the distance S a car has traveled in meter is S. The distance is U times T plus a half times A times T squared. So we use the starting speed in meters per second, A is the acceleration in meters per second squared, and T is the time in seconds. So work out the distance. Again, you're just substituting these values here into this formula to work out the distance S. So for the first one, so again, so you're doing U is 0, so you got 0 times T, which is 10, add half of AT, so A is 2, so that's 2. Remember, this is half of, so divide that by 2. T squared, 10. So that's 10 squared is 100. So 2 times 100 is 200. Half of that is 100. 0 times 10 is 0. So then that will give you the speed. Okay. And then the final question, problem solving reasoning. The diagram shows a cuboid and a cube. The volume of the cuboid is greater than the volume of the cube. So this cube is 2x centimeters long, so that means all sides are going to be 2x centimeters long. For this one, the opposite sides are going to be the right expression is simplest form for the difference between the volume of the cuboid and the cube. Again, write out all the measurements you need, collect and simplify, and then you do the same for this side, and then subtract one for the other. And then use your expression to calculate this difference when x equals 1, x equals 2. So again, you will do your substituting into both of these, and x equals 3 and x equals 4. And then part C, explain why it is not possible for x to be an integer. An integer is a whole number, you know, like your counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, not your fractions like your halves, your quarters, and your decimals. Integers are just normal numbers we normally use to count with, greater than 4. So explain why it is not possible for x to be an integer greater than 4. So that's the last question, question 9. Anyway, hopefully you found today's lesson informative. If you do have any suggestions or any feedback, please let me know. Otherwise, wishing you a great day. Remember, stay safe. Tomorrow we'll move on to the last lesson of this week, which will be on Thursday. And we're going to look at part 2 of substituting and solving, looking at questions 10 to 12. Anyway, as I said, stay safe, stay at home, and keep well.